Hello, students. Welcome to the February month. Two to three things. First of all, we have just tweaked the way we upload the videos. So first, we'll be completing the places in news. First, we'll cover February month. Then we will cover the March month. Then we'll come back to the indexes. Then we'll cover February. Then March. The remaining sessions of the January month will be completed after that, right? So, for example, we'll complete science and tech of January, then finish February, then March, like that. So it will be in a very continuous videos will be there of a particular session, right? So with this, with that we begin. Just one more important thing, we have sub-branded our current affair classes. So now they'll be known as P Junction 360 monthly current affair series. We want to make it a regular affair, and good reviews have been there with respect to that. Let us hope we can continue this endeavor, right? Let us start. So first one, we're going to see some world locations that we see. First is Nord Stream 2. Now starting 3 to 4 locations will be those which I've told you last time in the January month IR, and in other classes I told you that I'll be discussing few of the locations of the previous time. For example, that I've mentioned in the class that I'll discuss in the February month. So starting with the Nord Stream 2. So what is Nord Stream 2? Where we have discussed this? We have discussed this when we were discussing about NATO. So what we are discussing, that US was not happy with Germany building these gas pipeline with Russia, right? The whole idea of NATO establishment was against the USSR expansionism and aggression. So Germany, being a very vital member of NATO, is now dependent upon the Russia for the gas supplies, right? And this is what US does not want, because many of the NATO members are not complying with, for example, we have discussed that Germany is saying that we will reduce our defense expenditure to GDP ratio to 1.25%, which US wants it to be 2%, right? So this is what US does not want, and that is why they have kept some sanctions and also on this. So there is one gas pipeline is there, Nord Stream. Now Nord Stream 2 is on the planning stage. What it will do? There is a lot of gas in the Russia and demand is very less in Russia. So it will interconnect the Western Europe to the Eastern Europe, that is Russia. So if the dependence upon the Russia increases, then the geopolitical influence of the US decreases, right? And also the stature of Russia also increases. If Germany and France, these countries become dependent on the Russia for the energy needs, then they are overall dependent on Russia, right? So please remember, Nordic Stream 2 is a gas pipeline between Germany and Russia. Next is Volga River. So what is the context of the Volga River? Volga River, we have discussed Ganga-Volga dialogue between India and Russia. Track 1.5 dialogue we have discussed in our IR, international relation, bilateral relationships, India-Russia, right? So please do see that one also, international relation, because they set up the context of it. So just like Ganga is said to be one of the national rivers of India, similarly Volga is said to be one of the national rivers of the Russia. Okay, it is the Europe's largest river in terms of the discharge and drain basin. It flows through the central Russia. You can see central Russia, Volga, finally draining into the Caspian Sea. Okay, right? So historically important point of the European civilization and widely regarded as the national river of the Russia. Right? This much information is relevant for us. So ultimately it goes down in the Caspian Sea. Okay, right. Next is North Macedonia again, one of the topic of the international relation. North Macedonia in fact has become the 30th, I think this is March news, that the North Macedonia has become a 30th member of the NATO. Now on location of North Macedonia, you can see North Macedonia here. We have already discussed, if you remember last time, we have discussed Adriatic Sea and we were discussing Venice, right? The flooding of the Venice by the tide. So this is Adriatic Sea. Many of the countries we have discussed, Croatia that we have discussed, Bosnia Herzegovina we have discussed that it shares some of the border. So North Macedonia is here. Okay, this is North Macedonia. So North Macedonia is a part of earlier, the part of Yugoslavia. I think world history you will read about something about it. So Yugoslavia, when it break up, Yugoslavia's break up, then it become into similar parts. Okay, so this is North Macedonia. Next is Gulf of Aden. Gulf of Aden was in the news because some piracy, Indian Navy has helped in the patrol some cases of piracy, because Gulf of Aden is very near to Somalian coast. Now Somalian pirates are very infamous for the piracy incidents. Many of the piracy incidents happen across this area. Gulf of Aden, and that is why Indian Ocean region requires a net security provider, and India aspires to fulfill that full. So if we talk about Gulf of Aden, then Gulf of Aden, then Red Sea, and in between which strait is there? Bab al Mandab, right? If you zoom into it, these two seas, Red Sea, if it goes into it, then Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. I'm also trying to cover many of the locations here, so I think it will help you also. So if you revise this much information, that's it. That will be too much for places in news, right? Okay. So this much is relevant. So what are the locations we have discussed? Gulf of Aden, then we have discussed Bab al Mandab, then Red Sea, and now Red Sea, Gulf of Suez, and Gulf of Aqaba. Now, if you remember, we have discussed a lot. We have discussed about Yemen, right? We have discussed about Socotra. We have discussed about Oman, Muscat, and we have discussed about Deccan Port. So many of the locations of this area we have already discussed. Next, Sahel region. So Sahel region, very famous region of Africa. This is the Sahel region in Africa, right? So the question on the Sahel region can come first of all that which are the countries are there. So the question will not be question on the whether South Sudan is there or not. Question will be there whether Somalia is there or not. Whether Egypt can be asked whether Egypt is there or not, or they will ask some country in the south side, Kenya, Mozambique, South Africa, Botswana, like that. Right? They can ask about Morocco, whether Morocco is there or not. So like these countries, right? So just have an idea which are the countries are here. So Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, Eritrea, up to Eritrea it is here, some part of Ethiopia. Okay, so Sahel always remains in news. For example, currently it is in news because ISIS is holding its ground here, because ISIS has been officially taken out from the Syria and Iraq. Now they are trying to find their hold into the African region, because many of the affiliates of ISIS, for example, Boko Haram and all, they are here. So they are trying to support them in this region. This is one of the poorest region of the world, Sahel. Now, one more thing, Sahel acts as a transition region between the two geographical regions. This is Sahara Desert, and this is the savanna or the Sudan-like climate, savanna grassland. I hope all these things, biomes, you must have read about it. So this is a different climatic zone. This is a different zone, and it acts as a transition zone between the two, Sahel. Okay, so please remember that. Just read it out. Let us read it out. It transition in Africa between Sahara in the north and Sudanian savanna in the south. So some sort of semi-arid climate is here. Okay, right. Next, we're going to discuss Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Very controversial dam, very important dam in terms of this particular country, Ethiopia, and overall regional security and setting up the legal precedents. Let us discuss a bit about it. So first of all, this is Nile River, right? So said to be one of the longest river in the world. I think it is the longest river in the world. So Nile River flows like this first of all. Okay, so ultimately it goes down in the Mediterranean Sea. This is the Red Sea that we have read just now. So it has two tributaries. First is Blue Nile, second is White Nile. So if we talk about the Blue Nile, which contributes around 85% of the water of the Nile. So this comes from the Ethiopian highlands. So Ethiopia is a bit of highland thing. So from there the river flows first of all. Now Ethiopia, being the upstream country, wants to build this great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam here. It's not a new dam, right? I'm saying they're trying to build around 80 to 90% of the work is already finished. So it is at the border with the Sudan, Ethiopia, and finally Egypt is concerned. Why? Because Egypt is a downstream country. Egypt is too much dependent on this water. Okay. So first of all, let us read it out. Ethiopia building one of the largest dam in the world, Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. They will create electricity around 6.45 gigawatt, a huge amount of electricity. Now, within the Ethiopia, around 10 crore people, 100 million people are without electricity. So it will be a boon for them. It will be boon for Sudan also, because it will provide them irrigational facilities. However, Egypt is having a lot of problem with this dam. Okay, so this is the Great Renaissance Dam. Let us discuss something about it. So as I told you that 6.45 gigawatt. It is the largest hydroelectric project in the Africa. Okay. So the problem, let us discuss. I have made some of the key points. So let us discuss one by one. As I was telling you, that River Nile is 85% of the Blue Nile, right? First of all, from Ethiopian highlands. Now within the Egypt, the water demand is set to increase. Okay, because obviously their population is increasing and their demand is set to increase. So they are saying that if this dam is increased, then the water of the Nile we will receive less. So the water crisis can be a problem. Then historical precedence is also there. For example, there was some water agreement from 1929 to and 1959, which says that which assure Egypt of the water of the Nile. However, the Ethiopian government does not recognize these agreements. So Egypt obviously harp upon on those agreements. No, Ethiopian government will say no, we do not recognize that. Even some people say that in the earlier time of the construction of the Renaissance Dam, some of the military officials from the Egypt have said, okay, bomb those sites in Ethiopia because they do not share a lot of positive history. So many of the people, many of the military general have argued that we should go and bomb those places in Ethiopia where the dam is constructing. Okay, let's leave that. Now, in 1966, Helsinki rules were there. Helsinki rules are basically for the international rivers, so how to divide the water of the international rivers. However, the problem comes that Egypt and Ethiopia both consider the different interpretation of those rules, right? So that is a problem. We are not getting into the details, but I'm telling you that on that front also, on international law front also, there is a problem of legal interpretation. In 2015, finally it was decided, Egypt decided, or Egypt realized that it is inevitable. Ethiopia is going to build that dam. Now the question is, so inevitability of the dam is already there. Then the question becomes then on the technicalities. For example, how much time the Ethiopia should take to fill up its reservoir? Because for dam to create, there needs a reservoir. A lot of water is need to be filled up. So now the question is how much time is required. For example, they say if 6 years have been taken by Ethiopia and Ethiopia wants a 6-year time period, 17% of the farmland loss will be there in the Egypt. Okay, so 17% what farmland loss will be there in the Egypt. Now that is why Egypt want that reservoir to be filled over the period of 15 to 21 years. Now Ethiopia obviously wants that we should fill this as early as possible, because as early they fill the reservoir, as much as electricity they can take it out, because they have spent a lot of around 5% of their GDP they have spent on this particular project, right? That is the first point. So technicality is an issue. However, one more important point is the legal precedence. For example, once an upstream country like Ethiopia gets away with it, then it is said that Ethiopia not only has Nile but 20 plus rivers that grow from Nile, that go from Ethiopia to the other countries, because Ethiopia is a upstream highlands. Now, if they get the legal precedence for this Renaissance Dam, then they can do the same, and they are building another some different projects on the other fronts also. So, getting my point. So, this is why a lot of problems are there on this Renaissance front. Obviously, this dam is around 80% completed. However, the negotiations, Egypt many of time reject whatever is being done, or does not come to table, or Ethiopia does not cater to the demand. For example, US is also not involved. So a lot of geopolitics is there, but for our purpose, if the question comes, this much information is more than sufficient. Just for the sake of curiosity, I have covered this in detail, right? Right. So this is there. Next is Indonesia's Mount Merapi erupt. So Mount Merapi, just one second. So Mount Merapi is an active volcano that is there in the Indonesia. It is said to be one of the most active volcano of the Indonesia, most active volcano in the Indonesia, regularly erupting since 1548. So the location of the Mount Merapi, you can see it is here. So it is near to the central Java in the Yogyakarta province. So Yogyakarta province, you must have heard of Yogyakarta somewhere, right? So first of all, see, this is the Yogyakarta, and Saint Merapi, Mountain Merapi is same here. So Yogyakarta principle, if you remember, they are quoted by the Supreme Court in the Nalsa judgment. In the section 377 also they have discussed it. So Yogyakarta principles are basically talks about the right to self-determination, especially in the LGBTQ community rights, right? Right to sexual orientation and not being harassed and all these things, right? So Yogyakarta principles are in this context, not relevant for this year current affair, but it was being the current affair last to last year. Okay. Also, see, Yogyakarta is in the Indonesia. We have already discussed Indonesia in detail, if you remember previously, that this is Sumatra, this is Java, right? Many of the places here we have discussed. Now we have built a whole very good repository of the places in news. This is the 9th month place in news. You can imagine that. And every time we have discussed more than 15 to 20. So if we imagine even at an average of 10, so more than 90 or 100 locations we have already discussed over the period of time. So these locations with the context are too much for this year current affairs, right? Next is Togo. So Togo is a country in the Africa, West Africa. So Togo, this is the country. So Togo in the news because they are one of the founding members of the International Solar Alliance. So some sort of projects are being developed in Togo with NTPC. They are developing some project with the NTPC of India, right? So some of the regions, Dalwak region, if the question comes, or Savens region, they are in the Togo. I don't think the regions will be asked. They can ask about something about Togo or some geography of this place. Okay, so they have come together for a development of the solar power projects. So the capital of the Togo is Lome, Lome. Many maps are there. Yeah. So as we were discussing, so with International Solar Alliance endorsing NTPC, Indian utility engaged in Togo to act as a consultant for the development of the solar power plant. Few things let us discuss. So you see, this is what green zero meridian, right? And this is the equator. So it passes through this area. This is the Gulf of Guiana. We will discuss it first of all. So remember, it passes through equator and this. So this is Togo. Togo is almost vertical in nature. This is the 7th place that we have discussed where the project will be there. Okay, it was earlier a French colony. More information, it is the capital Lome. Lome is the capital. Right? As much information as you can get, please keep that in mind. Now coming to Gulf of Guiana, as we discussed, it lies, just one second, it lies at the junction of the equator and the prime meridian. Okay. Many of the rivers also flow there. Why it was in the news? Because it is identified as one of the prime areas of the piracy. Piracy is very active in this region. Along with that, Somalia region that we've discussed, Gulf of Aden region, this region is also a lot of piracy is there. The worst for the pirate attack. Okay. So this is Gulf of Guiana. So Gulf of Guiana, 2 rivers are basically famous. First is Niger that flows in through this. Then second is the Volta river. This is the Volta river. This is in detail Volta river, you can see, right? And this map, this is there, right? This is a big river. Niger is a big river. This is a relatively small river. So these 2 rivers flows in this particular Gulf of Guiana. Next in detail, like Renaissance Dam, a very important project, a marvel of the civil engineering architecture. So Northern European Enclosure Dam. First of all, it is not started to construction, has not started yet. It is still present at the conceptual level. You can see why also. If once built, it will be the most complicated, sophisticated and advanced civil engineering project in the world. So first of all, see why it is to be built. So what is it first of all? So they want to make an enclosure dam. So this is North Sea, right? This is North Sea. So they want to enclose the North Sea like this. Enclose it means cut off from the Atlantic Ocean, sorry. So cutting off with the Atlantic Ocean, this particular region. First thing, why they want to do that? Because sea level rise, climate change. Because of the climate change, right? So if the sea level rise becomes, then what happens? Then obviously Atlantic's sea level will rise and these coastal communities, these coastal areas will all be affected. Especially the most to lose is Dutch, because they are already 1/3. Let us discuss something here first. So Dutch are already 1/3 below the sea level, and if the rate is the same, they will finish by 2050. They will go down, the Dutches. Okay, so Dutch is at the primary level of the primary level. They are facing the threat. Okay, first thing is that. Secondly, it is proposed by the Dutch and the German have proposed this. As I told you, against the sea level rise that is happening because of the climate change. Now, by now itself, 21 centimeter sea level has risen, and IPCC at an optimistic projection is 30 to 60 centimeter rise if we adhere to the Paris climate change agreement. Now, everybody knows what is the state of Paris climate change. So, it will be around 80 to 1 meter will be risen. So, in that case, what is the choice? What is the choice for these countries? So, for example, sea level rise happens, right? So, what is the choice? First choice is, if nothing is done, then coastal communities all will be drowned. Then what they have to do? Inner migration they have to do. For example, they have to shift to the, for coast, they have to shift to the inner places. So inner migration will be an issue. Now tell me where the countries like Dutch will go, Netherlands will go, because they are almost everywhere there is sea. So it will create pressure on the inland countries. And already the politics is like that. That's a big issue. Inland migration not possible. A lot of huge loss of the hotels and everything which is coastal infrastructure, everything will be lost. Seaports and all these things. Other choice is to build a dam like this, what they are doing. So that is why it is said that the cost of doing nothing is around 5 to 10 times of what we're going to build this enclosure dam, right? Now what is the project? So they want to build basically two dams. First dam is this and second dam is this. So there will be, this length is 476 kilometer and this length is 161 kilometer. So one will be from Scotland to Norway, this area, and second from this France to Britain. Okay, so this will be two dams. What about the depth of these two places? In the north side, this one, above one. So average depth is 127 meter because the dam will go down at the bottom. The deepest point is 321 meter and that is at the Norwegian Trench. This is the Norwegian Trench. If you've seen from Norway to the Scotland, so this is where the deepest point will be there. And this is the one of the challenges of the project also. It is very deep, 321 meter. On the second one, the average depth is 85 meter and the deepest is only 102 meters. So no issue at that. So these are the two things. Now, as I told you, if nothing will be done, around 25 million people will suffer. 25 million people in the Europe. Okay, so this is the North European enclosure dam. Okay, now let us see something about it. So, and the proposed NED aims to construct two dams of combined length of obviously the 476 plus 161. So this is 337 around kilometer they want to build. The first one being the North Southern Land and the North, we have already discussed this, Western Norway, then France and the Southwestern England, right? To separate North and the Baltic Sea from the Atlantic Ocean to protect the Northern European against the sea level rise. Now coming to the problem, the challenges. The first challenge being the maritime trade, because the English Channel, we'll discuss English Channel, I forgot to mention, keep the location of English Channel. English Channel is right there. So English Channel is huge maritime trade that comes in. So if you build an enclosure, how will that be possible? You have to build some mechanism for the ships to come in, or you have to create some infrastructure right there. But it will create a lot of pressure on the European economies. First thing is that. Okay. Second thing, environment in the North Sea will be affected. Now you must have read about Gulf Stream, all these, which North Atlantic Drift, all these things. So a lot of environmental changes will be there. So further studies are required on it. However, they will be, I think, going ahead with this project, and let us see how it holds. But however, it is a really different project of a huge magnitude. So this question you can expect in UPSC. So what they can ask about this enclosure dam project. They can ask about why they want to build it. The answer will be sea level rise. Secondly, they can ask about which is the reason, so what they want to separate North Sea and from the Atlantic Sea, Atlantic Ocean. You can remember that on that front, right? And I don't think they will ask the country, because it will be obviously a collective endeavor of all the countries involved. Okay, so they can ask you that this question, this will be, however, these are the fronts they can ask you the question. So we have discussed that in detail. what will be the cost, what are the different dimensions. So these are the dimensions we need to. They can ask about the Norwegian trench also, the location of it and what are the challenges, right? Next is Yongle Blue Hole. So Yongle Blue Hole, G is silent actually, Yonle hoga, Yonle Blue Hole. So what is this Yonle Blue Hole? So basically blue hole is basically a marine cavern, so like a cave structure in the marine area. This particular area is one of the deepest blue hole is there. Okay, first thing, where it is located in this Xingda Island, which is near the Paracel Island. Okay, so this is in the south, this is South China Sea. So first of all, this is the location. So what they have found 8,000-year-old carbon they have found here. This is in the news, that's it. The carbon more than 8,000-year-old have been found inside this. Now, this area is important because this is an anoxic condition. For example, it is separated from the nearby area of the sea. Secondly, it receives very less rainwater. Okay, so that presents it a very different structure, different maritime ecosystem, oxygen deprived maritime ecosystem, right? So it can be a very good place for studying of the previously deposited carbon. Okay, so just remember that it is an anaerobic environment. The carbon is present. They are the marine caverns and they are the deepest in the ocean. These are the facts you need to remember. So if the question will be very easy. Yongle Blue Hole. First of all, where it is present. Second, what they have found. And thirdly, the conditions of it. Whether a lot of oxygen is there, dissolved oxygen, no, lot of dissolved oxygen is not there. Second number, after Yongle Blue Hole, there one is in the Bahamas. Not important, just for the relative purposes. So in the Bahamas, the second one is there, right? Okay. Next is Thwaites Glacier. So what is this glacier? So these glaciers are also termed as the Doomsday Glacier. Doomsday Glacier. They are said to be the riskiest glacier on Earth. So these are the Thwaites Glaciers. Okay, in the Atlantic. So Antarctic, sorry. So in the Antarctic, we have discussed a lot of location, right? Previously. Let us discuss about this particular glacier. So this glacier is melting at a very high pace. The area of this glacier itself is equal to the UK, United Kingdom, right? It's a very fast moving glacier, or it also, the melting has already contributed to 4% of the global sea rise, this particular glacier. Okay, and it is said to be, the rate of melting is very high of this particular glacier. As it is represented here, you can see similar to the size of the UK. We have discussed Ross Sea, Amundsen Sea. So these are the locations in Antarctic we have already seen, right? So if the question on this particular glacier will come, remember this is not in Hindu Kush or something, it is in the Antarctica. If the question on these comes, I am telling you, it will be very easy questions because these are the very detailed things which are not there in the newspapers. Just one time the word is mentioned once. However, the way we are teaching, the way we are telling you, I'm just presenting you in a context, right? So the question will be there. They will just ask about the question. They'll just ask about the location, nothing else. Right. Next is Vanilla Island. So I've told you last time also that we'll discuss about Vanilla Island. So Vanilla Island is basically a group of 6 islands that have come together, 6 island countries that have come together to present themselves as a tourist hotspot, right? Why they are termed as vanilla? Because they export a lot of vanilla. That is what we use in the ice cream, vanilla buds. Okay, what are the 6 countries? Comoros, Reunion, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mayotte and Seychelles. These 2 are the French territory, Reunion and Mayotte. And this is how French exercises its control in the Indian Ocean also. Okay, right. So yes, India is now venturing into the relations with these countries. For example, our Vice President has visited these Vanilla Islands. The locations we already discussed: Comoros, Mayotte, Madagascar, Mauritius and Reunion. The questions can be asked to arrange. Seychelles is above it. They can ask you to arrange in the north to south, not east to west, but north to south they can ask you to arrange it. So please remember with that question. Okay, right. So diplomatically we are outreaching to these countries. What are the these countries have been the area of contention since the time of the European power. Why? Because the present location is this, right? Earlier the before the Suez Canal was built, the ships have to be passed from this area. So they were the area of every colonial power wants to occupy that or have the influence in these areas, right? Now that is why currently what the significance they hold. Currently the significance is for the EEZ, exclusive economic zone. Even if an island is small island is there, EEZ is there. So a lot of territory, not only from the economic perspective but also strategic perspective. For example, India, we've already discussed many a time, India's Indo-Pacific strategy, India's own counter to the string of pearls policy. So all these can be seen in this context. Next is Reunion Island. So Reunion Island, again, the same thing. Let's quickly finish it. I think the length of the video will be relatively long this time because we have discussed in detail 2 to 3 topics. Let us quickly brush through the remaining topics. So Reunion locations we have seen. Reunion is the French territory. So now India and France conduct joint patrols from the Reunion Island. That is what it was in the news, and that is why we have covered it, right? Reunion, you must have read about Reunion hotspot in geography. In fact, I was reading about Reunion Island. So one of the points was that many people live in the caldera in the Reunion, and it contains one of the world-class infrastructure in Africa. One of the highest peaks in the Indian Ocean is there in the Reunion Island. Okay, a very good tourist spot. Next is Jebel Ali gas field. So Jebel Ali gas field is in the Middle East, in the UAE specifically, not in Middle East. Please remember UAE. Why I said so? Because many times we tend to forget things. Because Middle East is a very generic term. It can contain the other countries also. But remember, it is in the UAE. How will you remember it? Qatar becomes hero. Why? Because it can export LNG, liquefied natural gas. It has a lots and lots of the gas reserves. Now UAE find its own gas reserve that is known as the Jebel Ali gas field near this area, between Abu Dhabi and Dubai, right? So it between the Emirates of Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So it is the largest since 2005, and it could end Dubai's LNG imports by 2025. So dependence upon the Qatar will also reduce, and it will give it more independence in everything, right? Okay. So as I was telling you, Qatar is having one of the largest field, that is in North Field in Qatar. Qatar has become very rich. There is one video on YouTube, please you should see why Qatar has the highest per capita income in the world. Why is it so? How Qatar has become so rich? When I was discussing about the GCC, last time in the international relations, I was discussing about GCC, and we discussed why Saudi Arabia has called for the boycott of Qatar. Apart from the political reasons, one of the reasons was the jealousy of the Saudi Arabia, or the geopolitical competition of Saudi Arabia with the Qatar. Qatar being a very small country exercising a huge influence because of the money they have, right? And that is because they have a huge gas reserves. Right, so these are the locations of the international front. Let us discuss Indian locations. I think today we have covered a lot of locations. Starting with for Bundelkhand Express. So Bundelkhand is an area. It's one of the again aspirant area for the state. Just like we have discussed Tulu Nadu last time in the culture, art and culture. One is Bundelkhand, comprising of the territory of the UP and the MP, Uttar Pradesh and the Madhya Pradesh. So Prime Minister has announced the Bundelkhand Expressway. Obviously, the expressway will lead to the development of the region. What we need to remember from UPSC perspective, what is the location? So this you must have read about Agra Lucknow Expressway, the newly built expressway by the Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. He talked a lot about this expressway when the elections were going on, after which Mr. Yogi has become the CM. Right, then this particular expressway we cut from it. This is the Bundelkhand Expressway, and will reach to the area of the Bundelkhand, covering the area of Banda, Hamirpur, Etawah, and leading to the Chitrakoot. Okay, so talking about the Bundelkhand area, so just this much is information is relevant for us. It is having a very fast speed of land acquisition. So land acquisition is happening at a very fast pace. This is right. So I think one of the good models of land acquisition also. Then Bundelkhand, so this is the location of the Bundelkhand. So some part of UP and this is the part of UP and some part of the MP. One of the big cities of the UP here present is Jhansi. Jhansi is this area. Now Jhansi, you must be knowing Jhansi, we must be knowing because 1857 revolt, right? Other places famous in the Bundelkhand is Khajuraho, Chandela dynasty, right? So Khajuraho temples, Jhansi being the biggest city of it. Now the state of the Bundelkhand has been promised from 2011 by the BSP party. Then Uma Bharti from BJP, one of the leaders of BJP, Uma Bharti has also promised for the Bundelkhand being a separate state. Why? Because of underdevelopment of this particular area. It is hugely underdeveloped, Bundelkhand. Very less water is there. So that is why they believe that if they get a state of their own, then they can develop. So Bundelkhand Expressway can come as a huge sigh of relief or can lead to the development of this particular area. Next, we discuss Nahar Oil Refinery. So Nahar Oil Refinery is being in contention. Now the Saudis want to create one when Mohammed bin Salman has been in India. So they have started to talk about one oil refinery to be built in India, one of the biggest in India, right? $3 trillion project. However, the problem has been done. It isn't projected as the green refinery. However, a lot of protests by the locals were there. So the government has had to shift it. Now the argument has been between the two parties, Shiv Sena versus the BJP in MP. Now Shiv Sena has been opposing the project and BJP has been obviously proposing that saying that development will come and all these things. However, now Shiv Sena is in the government. Now flip-flops can be seen, but we are not supposed to go into the politics. However, earlier it was proposed here. Now it is somewhere in between. So again, no one knows where it will be shifted to. However, this remains always in news. For example, Nahar village welcomes Uddhav Thackeray's move to drop cases. Why? Because against these people the cases were launched. Those who were protesting against this refinery. So Uddhav Thackeray has removed those cases. Now Saudi have said that they have said, minister has said, it takes two to tango. We are committed. The Saudis are committed. What about the commitment on the India's end? They are not able to find the land to do it. So it also creates one of the problem for our development as well as the diplomatic relationships. Next is Madhav National Park. So first of all, see the location. Madhav National Park located near the in the MP, this north area of the MP. Madhav comes from the mother of Sindhia. So it is a part of the Sindhian area, right? Why it was in the news? Because encroachment of MP, this Madhav National Park was there. So many of the tribes such as Saharia tribes lived in this area. Now they were earlier promised, so they wanted to make a tiger corridor here. Okay, so for tiger corridor, they have taken the land out. They have shifted the tribals out of it, and they have promised that we will give you compensation. But the tribals have not got those compensation. They have been protesting for the land, and they have not got it. Right. This much is relevant for us. So just remember Saharia tribe that is there, and tiger corridor it has to be built here, and this is the location. Okay. Next is Paparwa Island. Not very important, but one satellite phone was found on this island. This is an inhabited island. That means no one lives here. Now, if one satellite phone is found, then it creates a security problem. Where it is located? Between the Kandla port and the Navlakha port. These are the two ports in between that, in the Gulf of Kutch. This is the Gulf of Kutch. This is Gulf of Khambat. This is Gulf of Kutch. So in between this island is there. It is no people live there, but a satellite phone is found, and that creates a security risk, right? Okay. So yeah, just trying to highlight that. What is the name of the Kandla port? Deen Dayal port. Okay. This is Navlakha. Next is Malai Madheshwara Wildlife Sanctuary. Mahadeshwara Wildlife Sanctuary. So why it is in the news? Because it will be developed into tiger reserve. Now we have to update our tiger reserve series, right? Okay. Apart from that, so please remember, because the tiger reserves are very important for our prelims, because many questions have been asked on it. So and future the questions can be asked on it. So in the tiger reserve, we have discussed the southern area in very much detail. So more importantly, for this wildlife sanctuary, the location is important. So contiguous to the BRT Tiger Reserve, Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve, and the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. So let us discuss it. So Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary is this. This is BRT and this is Satyamangalam. This is Satyamangalam, right? So where this Malay Madheshwara, this is the wildlife sanctuary. Okay, now let us see in this context. This is the Bihar Hills. Okay, this is the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, and this area is the Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve. So it is contiguous to this area. Please remember, this area is one of the important area for UPSC. They have asked questions on 3 to 4 times. So Bandipur, Nagarhole, Bandipur, right? And then Niche Wayanad Sanctuary. So this area is very important for our location perspective. If you want to read that in detail, please go to Tiger Reserve series. I've told you many of the times. Go to Tiger Reserve series and revise from that. Next is country's first fruit train. So fruit train will be, so that is the train basically. You see this. So supply chain management and cold supply chain, sorry. So the fruits will be stored in it and it will go directly to the Jawaharlal Nehru port in Mumbai. So you can see reducing the logistics cost and improving our exports capabilities. So from Andhra Pradesh, there is Anantapur district. It will go to that Mumbai directly to the port. Next is Mahabaleshwar. So Mahabaleshwar has got one of the highest rainfall in India, surpassing that of the Mausinram or the Cherrapunji. So more than Mausinram and Cherrapunji earlier in the Meghalaya, right? So they are getting more rainfall. So Mahabaleshwar location is this in Maharashtra. Mahabaleshwar is also famous because of the origin of many of the rivers. More importantly, Krishna river, Krishna tributary Koyana, Venna, and west flowing river also, which is Savitri. So please remember 2 to 3 rivers. So Mahabaleshwar is a very important location. Mahabaleshwar and one location in the Triambakeshwar, Mahabaleshwar, these are the few locations which are very, very important. Next is, and then this is the last one, Pangong Tso Lake. So this lake, first of all, this lake was in the Three Idiots. So if you have seen the Amir Khan's last scene in the Three Idiots, this is the lake. This is Pangong Tso Lake. So one article was there on the BuzzFeed that how Three Idiots destroyed the lake. You can see many of the, so it has led to the Bollywood tourism, and which is hampering with the fragile ecosystem of that place, right? So let us discuss about it. So this location of the Pangong Tso Lake, you can see this here, right? So this is LAC, Aksai chain, and this from there, this. So what is this? Then a part of area is claimed by India and part is there with the China. You can see here, this part is Indian and this part is Chinese. And always a lot of problems are there on the India-China front. And one of the area is this thing only. Okay, so 45 kilometer stretch under Indian control and the rest 90 kilometers stretch under Chinese control. In fact, China has built a lot of motorable roads on this particular lake. Okay, and Indian front obviously lacks infrastructure and lot of face-offs happen between India and the Chinese military on this front. In fact, on the May Indian-Chinese face-off was there in this particular area also. So you can see incident in the eastern Ladakh occurred in the intervening night of the May 5 and 6 near the Pangong Tso Lake. Second one in the Sikkim, but first one happened near this particular lake, right? So remember, this lake is not under the Ramsar Convention. So location I think we have seen. So this lake is not under the Ramsar Convention. It is being considered. So it will be there, it will be in the South Asia, in the transboundary wetland will be there, right? So it is, first of all, remember, it's a salt lake. It is not a freshwater lake. So established in the Himalayan region, but it is a salt lake, not a freshwater lake. So if the question on this lake will come, first option will be there. It's a freshwater lake or it's a saltwater lake. So remember, not a first saltwater lake, and secondly, it is not part of the Indus River basin. Obviously, you can see from the Indus also, Indus goes above and this lake is down. Right, I think with this we should finish our session, a relatively long session. Let us quickly revise it. So Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, NATO context I have discussed. It is Germany and Russia. Then Volga River, Ganga, Volga, some sort of summit has happened between India and Russia. Then North Macedonia, NATO, it has become the 30th member of the NATO. Then Gulf of Aden, in terms of the piracy we have discussed. Locations around that we also discussed. Then we discussed about Sahel region, a transition region in the Africa, Sahara and Savanna climate. Then Renaissance Dam, we have discussed in detail Renaissance Dam and the enclosure dam. Then Mount Merapi, Yogyakarta, please remember that, Togo and Gulf of Guiana we have discussed in detail this European enclosure dam. Then Yongle blue hole, then Doomsday Glacier, that is Thowaites Glacier, important Thowaites Glacier. Then Vanilla Island also very important for this year prelims. Okay, then Reunion Island and Jebel Ali gas field. So Jebel Ali gas field and also is important. If you remember, we have discussed first nuclear power plant of the Arab also last time. Then in Indian location, Bundelkhand Expressway, Nanar oil refinery, Madhav National Park, the tribes, Saharia tribes, then Paparwa Island, and then Malai Madheshwar, which is aspiring to be a tiger reserve, and then fruit train, then Mahabaleshwar, become one of the wettest land in India, in the world in fact. Then Pongso Lake, we finished India and Chinese face off and the location of it. With this, we finish our relatively long session. So the next session will be places in news of the March. Till then, see you, bye-bye, and do comment if you have any doubts on it, and we will try to rectify it. Right? With this, we finish our lesson. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.